I'll have my new feeding tube soon. So, wake up and then we'll get a peek at what it looks like.
Oh, you got freezing cold here.
Good Friday morning, everyone. Today is the day I get my new feeding tube GJ button. I had my fingers crossed and I've hoped and I've prayed that it will go well, and I have peace that it will. I'm not so nervous. I'm just ready to get it done. And Harlow is not coming with us because I just feel like some things it's more appropriate to leave her home. There's not much she could do for me while I'm back in the surgery room anyways, and so she'll just relax here. Judd is taking me, so I'll be really well looked after. And Harlow's perfectly content to chill at home and just welcome me back. And I know I've repeated this info a lot over the past few days, but I just want to give a recap of what's happening today for those of y'all who may not know or just want a general overview. So one question I get asked a lot is, why do you have a feeding tube? The main reason is due to gastroparesis, which is where my stomach is partially paralyzed and cannot digest things very well at all. And that is the main reason I have a feeding tube. Other things play into it, and you can learn more in my chronic illness video and in my feeding tube playlist. Another question is, what type of feeding tube do you have? Currently, I have something called a TransJ, meaning it goes into my stomach and transfers to my jejunum. So it ends in my small intestine where all of my nutrition goes in, which is important because it skips my stomach, which is the most problematic part for me. And then I get asked, what type of feeding tube are you getting? It's called a GJ button, meaning it'll have the J port to my jejunum for nutrition and a G port to my stomach, so I can vent and drain contents that just sits there because my stomach doesn't digest things well at all. Even if I don't eat, there's a lot of buildup of acid and things that it'll be nice to drain out so I don't have to vomit so much. And it'll be great in managing my symptoms of nausea and vomiting, stomach pain and things like that. And this tube is a dangler, meaning it's super long. The one I'm getting is a small, low-profile button, and that'll make more sense when y'all see it later today. Another question I've seen is this gonna be painful? Well, not exactly. The first time I got my feeding tube placed, it was painful. It was a hard recovery. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which makes healing very difficult for my body. And they had to like make a hole here to go into my intestines. Now, the new feeding tube is just gonna go in the same hole. The hole is called a stoma, so we just remove this one and place the new one in the same stoma. So it should not be as hard as a recovery, should not be as painful as the initial placement, but there could be some irritation around the stoma site. My intestines might have to get used to the new tube, so there could be some discomfort and pain for the next few days or few weeks. We don't know. My GI said we just have to see how it affects me personally. Am I gonna have to change my tube again? Well, feeding tubes don't generally last forever. The current one I have can last a long time. I think my GI said up to a year, but the one I'm getting can only last, I think, about 4 to 6 months. So every 4 to 6 months, depending on how the tube holds up, it could be shorter, it could be longer, I'll have to go under again to get it switched out just to make sure this piece of equipment in my body is as patent as possible. You know, we don't want it old or deteriorating. And then I also get asked, why am I going under? A lot of people, when they change their tubes out, don't have to be put under sedation. Well, I'm getting a J tube one, and also I have very weird anatomy, so my GI has told me, and placing a tube is a little more difficult than it should be. So they have to use a scope where they put it down my esophagus into my stomach and stuff to see what they're doing, and I'm not gonna be awake for that. So that's why I'm being sedated. No, I don't do well with anesthesia. Sometimes I wake up very violent and I don't remember, extremely disoriented and puking everywhere. And I get a lot of muscle weakness that lasts a few days from anesthesia. They know about all these complications. They're ready to help me. Plus my narcolepsy makes it hard for me to wake up from anesthesia, but this hospital has treated me before and it'll be fine. I have a lot of faith in my medical team.
Oh, I'm so tired.
Bye. You can sleep there.
Oh, I'm going to.
Bye, Harlow. When I get back, I'll have a new feeding tube. I love you.
Hopefully this time.
Yeah.
Don't jinx it.
All right, bye, Mom. I'll see you after.
All right, bye. Love you.
We're on the road. Judd got some breakfast. What is those noises?
Tired.
Yeah, he gets home around like 3 a.m. So this is quite early for him, but thank you, babe. And if you're
up at this time,
I'm up at this time every day.
so early.
Anyways, if you're wondering why Joe is saying don't jinx it, I was supposed to get this new feeding tube on August 1st, but there's some mishaps. If you want to see what happened, just click the link up in this corner. But anyways, all should be good now. It should go smoothly. We are almost at the hospital, and I have been off my nutrition since 8 p.m. last night. Dinner didn't go so well last night either, so the last thing I ate was around like 8:30 p.m. I had some turkey breast slices. I know I show y'all food that I'm eating a lot, but like keep in mind, I don't usually ever finish what's on my plate. I take a few nibbles and I don't always keep it down. Like this morning I was puking a lot, like kind of gross, but I swear I could taste the turkey breast I ate. But anyways, all should be well. I brought the nutrition so they can hook it up to my new feeding tube if they so please, and just ready to get this done. Off we go. And yes, I am sporting my slippers today. Comfort is key. I have a nice fish tank here, and we're in the waiting room just waiting to be called back for pre-op. I'm gonna stare at the fishes.
All set up, ready to go.
I'm in pre-op. They took vitals, they're running fluids. The anesthesiologist is the one I was gonna have last time on the 1st, so he knows me already, and
Do you have upper dentures or lower
feeling a
dentures?
little nervous, but ready to get this done. And I got Lola.
You'll be fine.
Well, the anesthesiologist visited me. I had the nurses check everything. I'm starting to get nervous. Not so much for the change, just the anesthesia, but they put me at ease a lot, and
Okay.
I've been praying, so it's gonna go well.
Thank you.
I'll have my new feeding tube soon.
Soon, Jack just got out. She is still a little bit sleepy, as you can see. She is sleeping off the meds. They told me everything went pretty good. She woke up a little restless and vomited a little bit when she woke up, and I guess she went back to sleep. Just sleeping off the rest of her meds. They said the tube went in and everything. It's perfect. So wake up and we'll get a peek at what it looks like. That was pretty cool.
I'm out from anesthesia, doing well. And I got my new feeding tube. Look how tiny and awesome it is. It happened. I got my new feeding tube. I love it. All of the nurses were just like, wow, look at how little and convenient it is. So I was showing all the nurses. I was so proud of it. I'm still proud of it. And that went off pretty without a hitch. How was I when I first woke up?
They told me that you were a little bit feisty when you first woke up.
Yeah.
You tried taking off your cuffs and not handcuffs, but your
My blood pressure cuff.
and then you tried ripping off the stickers and stuff and trying to what am I doing here?
I don't remember.
What?
I don't remember.
I wasn't there for that.
I was
This is
like,
what they told me.
I guess I was trying to take off all my leaves and my port needle and like run. And then what about when you came in?
You're spitting, making horrible noises.
I was puking a lot, which happens. And my throat feels really funny right now, but
I have a scope go down it.
yeah. And I feel groggy, but everyone was so nice. It was a good experience. And I have my new feeding tube. And tomorrow I should have a home health nurse coming to show me how to work it and use it properly, because it's a little different from my old one, but I'm so excited.
Give. What's going on? Did you miss us today? I'm upset that we didn't take you to the thing. Hippo! Hippo! Speak! Speak! Run around! Anyway, Jax has a little bit of a sore throat.
It hurts a lot.
And
My esophagus is already sensitive from how much vomiting I do. So putting the scope down it doesn't help. I'm having a little bit of abdominal discomfort, but not much. Are you feeding? Oh, I poked it up.
nerd.
tomorrow we have a nurse coming to show us how to use it because it's a little different. So I'm not gonna run feeds till tomorrow. Just letting everything kind of like settle in my intestines, and I've just been sleeping here. I don't feel well after anesthesia. I feel weak and nauseous, and I woke up violent.
Yeah, she fought the nurses.
I said I was like trying to rip everything off and like pour it and stuff. And they got the charge nurse, and then I don't know, I calmed down and woke up and I don't remember it.
I haven't decided what I'm gonna do for dinner yet. Got my Mission Barbecue. My favorite thing from there is the pulled pork, North Carolina style, with a side of mac and cheese. Ooh, excuse me. Jack got some pulled chicken, so hopefully she'll be able to stomach that tonight. We will see with the new feeding tube. Also with the new feeding tube, because I guess no one really has seen it in that hospital or anything, but like every nurse that walked by was just like, what kind of feeding tube is that? And Jack was like, it's a GJ button. And it was just funny. Everyone was just like, oh my god, it's so small compared to that monstrosity that you had coming in. So it was just funny. Jack's got her pulled chicken.
And cornbread. But when I first got out of the hospital and woke up from anesthesia, the fentanyl, the IV pain med they gave me during the switch was still working. It's out of my system now, so I'm having some pain in my feeding tube site and abdominal, and my throat really hurts, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to eat much, but thanks for getting it, babe.
You're welcome, babe.
Hey, Mom.
Yes.
You like my new feeding tube?
I love it.
Did we tell you all the nurses were like, what is that? They were so interested.
I bet. Because never seen it, right?
Well, none of the hospitals in this surrounding area carry it. They had to special order it from the manufacturer. So.
But I'm sure up north or maybe in Orlando, the big cities, they made that,
I don't know. But my doctor was pleased, and my doctor had an emergency surgery right after mine, so he couldn't come see me. But I see him in 2 weeks for a follow-up anyway. So, getting ready for bed. I gotta clean my feeding tube. You can see the drainage is getting on my shirt. There's normal discharge. That's why I like to use a protective barrier. With my old feeding tube, I was using the gauze because it was too tight to use tubey pads, but I'm gonna see if this don't work. So I just take some saline and I clean it once a day before bed. Then I dry it. It's important it stays dry. Let's see if it fits. I'm a little timid with it because it's new,
Is your stomach still in a little bit of pain?
Yeah, it feels like distended and swollen, and it's painful here. I can't use this tube until tomorrow when the nurse shows us. I have to let my intestines rest for 24 hours, so. So far so good. It works. I like it with this.
It's nice.
Well, Jack's cozying into bed, a little bit in pain.
Yeah.
Stomach's a little bit sore. And we're gonna watch the Batman Lego movie. It's such a good movie. We want to watch the original Lego movie, but we had it and we lost it and we don't know where it is, so I'm gonna copy of that. But the Batman Lego movie is still super funny and we love it. Anyway, thanks for joining us on our adventure. Anything else we need to add? Nope.
Thank you so much for all the prayers and well wishes. It was very appreciated.
You could definitely feel the love today. Anyway, yeah.
Good night, and thanks for joining us.
I already said it. You don't need to say it. I already said it. See you later.